Assalamualaikum. We are going to learn ratio and proportion. This topic in mathematics is a very practical topic. We use it in everyday life. Almost every single person use this. But maybe you will not be aware about that. First, let's talk about the ratio. What is ratio? What is proportion? And then we will learn where in the practical life we are using it. First, if we talk about the ratio, so ratio is the comparison of two numbers or quantities by division. And the symbol for the ratio is simply we put the two dots, one up and one down. That is called ratio. But what it mean when we compare the quantity and we are choosing the other quantity according to that quantity, then we use a ratio. For example, you want to make a juice, and in juice you have to, for example, make 4 cups of juice. And to get a good taste of this juice, you are using 2 spoons of sugar for 4 cups. Mean to make the 4 cups of juice, you are using 2 spoons of sugar. So I can say there are 4 cups of juice that we want to make, and we are using the 2 sugar spoons. So I will have, if I will use 1 spoon of sugar, then it means I can make 2 cups of juice. So it is giving a ratio that for every 2 cups of juice we can use 1 spoon of sugar. So this is a ratio. Mean by changing one quantity, how the other will change as well. We are comparing them. And mathematically, I will say it 1 ratio 2 or 2 ratio 4. If I'm saying 2 ratio 4, it means for every 2 spoons we can make the 4 cups of juice. And if I'm saying 1 ratio 2, it means for every 1 spoon we can make 2 cups of 2 cups of the juice. In the same way, let's suppose in a school there are boys and girls, and their numbers are differently. The numbers are in such a way that there are 200 boys in the school and there are 400 girls in the school. So if we will compare one by one, we can say for every one boy there are 2 girls, because you can see here the quantity is double. The boys are 200, so the girls are 400. The quantity is double. So for every one boy there are 2 girls in the school. Mean if one boy is taking the admission, then the 2 girls are taking the admission in the school. So mathematically we will say it as 1 ratio 2. So hopefully you understand the meaning of that one. In the same way, for baking, for cooking, we are taking the quantity. If we are increasing, for example, you are cooking the rice, and to cook the rice, when we increase the rice, we increase the ingredients also in a certain proportion or ratio. For example, to cook the rice, if we have to cook 1 kg rice, let's suppose we are using only 3 tablespoons of salt. This is just an example, I'm not telling an exact quantity. So it means I will say that the ratio is uh, 3 ratio 1. Mean for every 1 kg we will use 3 tablespoons salt. So this is a comparison between the two quantity. One is depending on the other. So we will say it mathematically ratio. We will say it is as ratio. Now, while dealing with the ratio, the two quantities must be in the same unit. For example, if you are using a kilogram, then for the other should also be in kilogram. If you are using for one quantity the unit as gram, then for the other should also be in the gram. Whatever unit you are using, it should be same units. If these are not same, we will make them same. And a ratio may be treated as a fraction. For example, if I'm saying 1 ratio 2, it can be written in the form of the fraction as 1 over 2. If I'm saying A ratio B, it can be written in the form A over B. So we can treat it in the form of fraction also. If we are taking the two ratios which are equivalent, so if the fraction corresponding to them will also be equivalent. I mean, if we are taking the two ratios which are equivalent, for example, right now I give you an example here. It's 2 ratio 4 or 1 ratio 2. They are equivalent to each other. So we can say that 2 ratio 4 is equal to 1 ratio 2. They are equivalent to each other. And if we have the four quantities, so four quantities will be set into the proportion if the ratio of the first and second quantity is equal to the ratio of third and fourth quantity. Let's suppose we have the four quantities as A, B, C and D. So if the ratio of first and second is equivalent to the ratio of third and fourth, then we say they are in the proportion and we use the four dots. I will read it: A ratio B proportion C ratio D. So for four quantities in when we are comparing them, so we use proportion. Also we can use the symbol equal for them also. So four quantities are said to be in proportion if the ratio of the first and the second is equal to the ratio of the third and fourth quantity. So let's take some examples from the book over here and learn more about the ratio and proportion. This is page 90 from the learner book. I know you can see on your screen. The question is, 1 in every 3 squares in this pattern is black. Like you can see, for every 3, 1 is black. So I can see, like for the comparing, the pattern continues in the same way. Copy and complete this table. If we will have the 8 squares, how many blacks will be? So we are saying, if there is 1 black, then there will be 2 white. So in the same way, if there are 2 blacks, it means there will be 4 whites. For 3 blacks, there will be 6 whites. For 4 blacks, here I'm writing blacks, and here I'm writing white. So for 1 black, there are 2 whites, so the ratio is 1 and 2 ratio. So it means if I will double the blacks, white will also double. So for 2 will be 4, for 3 will be 6. So for 4 blacks will be 8 whites. In the same way, I can continue. I can say for 5 there will be 10 whites. For 6 there will be 12 whites, because the ratio is 1 and 2. If we whatever we will have for black, the white will be the double of that. So we can complete this table now, and we are having the 8 white squares. Or in another way, you can say that the numbers of black are half than the white. So if we have the 8 whites, there will be 4 blacks. So I can write here 4. So for 6 blacks, there will be 12. So I can write here 12. And if we have the 14 whites, so whites are double than the blacks, it means the blacks will be 7 here. The next question is, Saf makes green paint by mixing yellow paint with blue paint. I mean, to make the green, he can make green by mixing yellow with blue. So he uses 2 cans of yellow paint for every 1 can of blue. So if I will take the yellow and blue comparison here between the yellow and blue, so he uses 2 cans of the yellow for every 1 can of blue. So it means the ratio between them is 2:1 ratio. For 2 yellow will be 1 blue, or for 1 blue there will be 2 yellow. Saf uses 8 cans of yellow paints to make enough green paint to decorate this. So how many cans of the blue paint does he use? So we need to look here again. The yellow are double than the blue. So as he is using 8 yellow cans, so it means the blue will be half than the yellow. So we'll use 4 blue cans. So it means he will use 4 blue cans to make. So this is a simple way to compare different quantities. We are using the ratio. Next lesson we will learn more about this one. So see you next time.